English for Level 2 learners. This will be a bit of an adventure about facing the unknown. The Ghost Water of Willow Creek. Chapter 1. The Boy and the Dry Stream. In a village surrounded by big green fields lived a young boy named Leo. Leo was 10 years old, and he loved to explore the woods near his home. The most important thing in Leo's village was the creek, named Willow Creek. It was a clear, rushing stream that gave water to all the fields and all the houses. But this year, something strange happened. In the middle of summer, when the sun was hottest, Willow Creek began to grow dry. The water became lower and lower every day. Soon, the stones on the bottom were showing, and only a tiny, slow line of water remained. The villagers were worried. Their fields were turning brown. "The creek has never dried up before," the old baker said. "It is a sign of bad luck." Leo's father was a farmer. He looked at his dry fields and sighed. "If the water does not return soon, we will have nothing to eat this winter." Leo felt sad and worried. He decided he needed to find out why the water stopped. One morning, Leo took his small backpack and a bottle of water. He decided to walk to the source of the creek, the very start of the water, high up in the lonely hills. "I will find the water's secret," he told himself. Chapter 2. The Whispering Canyon. Leo walked all day. He passed the dry parts of the creek bed, which were now just rough stones and dead leaves. As the sun began to set, he reached the hills. The air here was cold and quiet. He found a dark, narrow entrance to a canyon. This was where the creek was supposed to begin. He stepped inside. The canyon walls were tall, made of dark gray rock. No sunlight reached the bottom. As Leo walked, he heard a sound. It was the sound of rushing water. "The water is here!" Leo shouted happily, but when he looked, there was nothing. The ground was dry, just like the creek bed in the village. Leo stopped. He listened again. Shh, whoosh! The sound was all around him. It was a sound of water moving quickly, but he could not see a single drop. He touched the air. The air was very cold and felt wet, but his hand was dry. "It is ghost water," Leo whispered. He saw small, dark pools in the rocks. They were completely empty, but the sound of water rushed around them. He knew he should be afraid, but his worry for his father's farm made him brave. He needed to see where the ghost water went. Chapter 3. The Cold Cave. Leo followed the sound deeper into the canyon. It twisted and turned, and the ground became soft with dust. He finally arrived at the end of the canyon. There was a big, black cave. The ghost water sound was strongest here, roaring like a waterfall, yet still, nothing could be seen. Leo was nervous, but he took out a small, old lantern from his backpack. He lit the oil wick, and a small yellow light filled the darkness. He walked into the cave. The cave was huge and silent, except for the loud, invisible water. The walls were covered in smooth black rock. Leo held the lantern up high. He saw something shiny and strange on the floor. It was a small pile of silver metal. He picked up a piece. It felt heavy and cold. It was clearly man-made, not natural rock. He walked further, and he saw more strange things. Large pieces of metal, thick wires, and broken glass. It looked like someone had been building something very big and complicated inside the cave. The ghost water noise was now so loud that Leo had to cover his ears. He realized the sound was not coming from nature. It was coming from a huge, powerful machine. He rounded a corner and saw it. A massive metal pump. Chapter 4. The Machine and the Secret. The machine was old, dirty, and very large. It sat right where the natural spring, the start of the creek, was supposed to be. The pump was working hard. It was making the roaring sound, but it was not pumping air or oil. It was pumping the water. Leo saw a large pipe coming out of the back of the machine. The pipe went straight through the cave wall and disappeared. Leo realized the terrible truth. Someone was stealing the water. The machine was taking all the water from Willow Creek before it could start its journey down the hill to the village. The cold, wet air was just the water being sucked away too fast. The metal pieces and wires were evidence that someone had broken the natural flow. Suddenly, a loud noise made Leo jump. The machine's door opened, and a man stepped out. The man was wearing dark clothes and had a hard, unfriendly face. He was the one who controlled the machine. He looked surprised and angry to see Leo. "Who are you? What are you doing here?" the man demanded. Leo felt his heart jump, but he held his lantern higher. He remembered his father's worry and the dry fields. "I am Leo from the village," he said, trying to make his voice strong. "You are taking our water. You are stealing the creek." The man laughed, a short, ugly sound. "Stupid boy. I own this land, and I own the water. I sell it to the factories in the city. Now, go home and forget you saw the ghost water." Chapter 5. The End of the Ghost. The man started walking toward Leo. Leo knew he couldn't fight the man. He had to be smart. He looked quickly around the pump. He saw a panel with many thick, colorful wires. As the man took a step closer, Leo threw his old lantern hard onto the ground. The small light went out, and the cave was covered in sudden darkness. The man yelled in surprise. In the dark, Leo rushed to the pump panel. His hands were shaking, but he remembered seeing a red lever when the man opened the door. He felt around quickly on the panel. His fingers found the lever. He pulled it down with all his might. Clang! The machine made a huge grinding noise. Then there was a loud pop, and the roar of the ghost water suddenly stopped. The cave became quiet. Leo ran backward, falling behind a large rock. The man cursed loudly. "What did you do? The pump is broken." He fumbled for his own light. Leo used the silent moment to escape. He ran out of the cave entrance and down the dark canyon path as fast as his legs could carry him. As he ran, he heard a sound that was no longer a ghost, a beautiful, real trickle of water starting to flow over the stones. The creek was coming back. Leo did not stop running until he reached the edge of the village. He was dirty and tired, but his heart was light. He told his father and the other villagers everything: the dark canyon, the cave, the massive stealing pump, and the angry man. The villagers went to the canyon the next morning. They found the broken machine. The man was gone, having run away during the night. The villagers worked together to take the pump apart and move it away from the spring. The next day, Willow Creek returned. The water flowed down the creek bed, filling it quickly. The farmers cheered. The water was no longer a ghost. It was real, strong, and clear. Leo, the boy who solved the mystery, was a hero. He learned that even a young boy can fight a big problem if he is brave enough to look for the truth. He saved the creek, the farms, and the whole village.